Alright, Jimmy, welcome back. So, yeah, we're actually doing a running reviews today because yesterday the overload was a bit longer than I thought. So, today's vlog is pretty simple. One, this Jimmy, we're kind of like sleep fishing right now. We're still like 30 minutes earlier than usually, but still wasn't exactly enough for it. I'm gonna have to end the cardio there because stomach is doing a lot right now. Yeah, the stomach is like, I'm not gonna love my stomach right now. But it's a bit weird right now. But also like super sleepy still. I'm gonna have to give you guys like a story video today because right now we are not capable of talking at all. One, my stomach is dying, and two, I can't really talk much, and three, the water's not even done. One water down. And then talk about the stomach pain's gone for now, but it's gonna be back. That's what usually happens. We ended the cardio earlier because my stomach was like being a bit weird, and right now it's fine. But the moment I start doing more dips, it'll probably go off. I'm gonna take the call. I'm actually not gonna drink the water right now. I'll drink the rest of the water bottle back at HQ when it's safer. Right now, can't really. Bro, stomach pain's back again. Just gotta resist it. I don't know. Oh, the stomach pain is back. For those wondering why I keep checking the time, it's because my timer's on it. So every minute or so we do the dips. Usually we drink water along with it, but right now it's just not worth it. I need to hold it against the pain and then gonna go towards support and just do our thing, but right now it's way too, you know. I think that was fast because we didn't even drink any water. Nah, okay, well, that was very, very fast, but yeah. The stomach pain's gone temporarily, but it'll probably be back by the time I start driving. So yeah, see you guys next time. Probably gonna, nah, we have to do a story this time. This, today was like pretty much just empty. I'll try to do a story video today, but I'll see how it goes, alright? Alright. So that was like I think that was one of the most quietest days we've had. Didn't even finish the water. I have to finish the water later. Yeah, can't check the weight because the water's not done. Treadmill only did like 20 minutes before stomach pain really got me, and then just speed run the dips. So, alright, see you guys next time, right? I promise a story video, like, I will promise a story video later. Yeah, cool.
Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry, I made that weird noise. Okay, story time, right? If I remembered correctly, we were on the last story. So the previous story was about like a woman getting lost. It is what it is. Next, lock in. Let's go.
On May 18th of 1935, George and
1935. Okay, so we're in like okay, old.
Laura Lorius joined their friends Albert and Tilly Haberer on the cross-country road trip of a lifetime. From their home in southern Illinois, the group planned on driving across 2,000 miles of plains and desert.
2,000 miles. Oh, 2,000 miles to KM. Okay.
Before finally finishing up on the coast of California. And by May 21st, they had arrived.
Wait, wasn't this 1937?
Planned on a road trip of a lifetime. Joined their on May 18th of 1935.
1935. Old, so this is before World War II. Damn, that's old. 1935. Man, they still got... How can you have a road trip in 1935? What kind of cars you got? How am I going to even talk about the story? It's 1935. Bro, you ain't even got no, like, you know, bombs and stuff yet. So that's like before... Who told the story?
George and Laura Lorius joined their friends Albert and Tilly Haberer on the cross-country road trip of a lifetime.
Cross-country road trip. So they must be rich, right? Because who the hell owns a car?
From their home in southern Illinois, the group planned on driving
I got a
across
pimple here. Is what
2,000
it is.
miles of plains and desert before finally finishing up on the coast of California. And by May 21st, they had arrived in the small town of Vaughn, New Mexico. After piling out of George Lorius's Nash sedan, the two couples checked into the Vaughn Hotel before sending off several postcards to friends and family. Then, after a small dinner at a local diner, the group retired to their rooms for the night before continuing west the following morning. In their postcards, the group seemed to be in high spirits and reported nothing untoward occurring during their most recent drive. But after the couples continued driving west on the morning of the 22nd, neither was ever heard from again. It wasn't until the morning of May 26th that the Lorius' car was found abandoned in the business district of Dallas, Texas. The vehicle's keys were still in the ignition, the gas tank was full, and numerous postcards lay in the passenger seat. But there was no sign of any of the Illinois road trippers. Gas station receipts confirmed that Mr. Lorius had purchased fuel in a place called Socorro on May 23rd. But after that, their fate was anyone's guess. The following week, the couple's families were notified of their disappearance, and an official investigation was launched. Police initially believed that the absence of $400 worth of travelers' checks indicated that a violent robbery had taken place. However, investigators soon discovered that the couple's car had been involved in a minor accident shortly after arriving in Socorro. Since the accident could have angered someone enough to do harm to the road trippers, police began questioning the handful of witnesses to the crash. Yet instead of describing the vehicle as containing two middle-aged couples, witnesses stated that the lone occupant was a young man with dark-colored hair. Detectives managed to track the vehicle from the scene of the accident to a small local repair shop. Mechanics changed a tire on the vehicle and completed other minor repairs. Then whoever was driving the car paid with one of George Lorius's traveler's checks. Detectives then followed the trail of cash checks to a motel in El Paso, and then to Dallas, which is where the vehicle was found abandoned on May 26th. The investigation briefly stalled until June 29th, when a report came in of a small
January, February, March, April, May, June. So like 1 month.
desert bushfire on the outskirts of Albuquerque. The fire department arrived to discover a piece of burning luggage.
GG. They burned the bodies. Dead. RIP is what it is.
Inside were the smoldering belongings of George and Laura Lorius.
Yep.
With the man responsible for the couple's disappearance still actively disposing of their belongings, law enforcement rushed into action in the hopes they might still be recovered alive. The FBI headed up a multi-agency task force which searched rivers, lakes, mine shafts, wells, and numerous spots around the desert.
Mine shafts.
Yet despite the vast reach of the well-staffed search teams, not a trace of the missing couples could be found. Unable to apprehend a suspect, detectives found themselves diverted to other investigations.
Yeah, like World War
The
II.
case eventually went cold.
Yep.
But as recently as 2010, the case file
2010, bruh. 2010. Everyone did, bro. What you talking about? 2010. Everyone's dead. You're too late, buddy. 1935, bro. And they're like middle age. They're like adults at best. So like what? They're pretty much dead already. Like how are they still alive? 1935. So they got to be like 80 plus now. No. If they're like, so they must be like 100. Who brings up a case from that? It's too late, bro. They already did. Whoever did the crimes already did it anyways. 2010, buddy, bro. 1935 is before World War II. Who brings up a case like that? Y'all should be doing more research on what happened during World War II instead. Just saying, whatever.
files are still revisited by various state police officers, each hoping for a flash of inspiration. According to one such officer, Agent Norman Rhodes, the case has never been officially closed, but the low probability of it being solved means that the New Mexico State Police can rarely afford to pay it any mind. Yet despite the perceived difficulties of the case, Agent Rhodes has since made it his personal mission to discover what happened to the 4 Illinois road trippers.
It was for them. Oh, okay.
Rhodes stated that perhaps his most daunting task has been trying to locate the remains of the road trippers' bodies.
Bro,
which are
how are you
most
gonna do that? Have you not seen like Breaking Bad, bro? To feed them to like the chickens. Matter of fact, I don't know, man. 1935, bro. That's literally before World War II. It's like trying to find a dead body from like the. What about the bodies in World War? Matter of fact, did World War II even happen? Who the fucking knows? Even I don't know if that's. Did it even happen? Where are the bodies at? You know? Where's the footage as well? You know? Plus, you don't even know what exactly happened in World War II either. You have like no evidence. The victor is always right to history, so you don't even know what happened. You know? We don't even know. It could have never happened. It could have just been stories within books. How the fuck do you know? You don't know.
Likely nothing more than desiccated bones today.
The only real evidence I've seen of World War II is apparently. Never mind. Shut up.
It will also be no small feat to locate the couple's killer, who will have probably died of old age since the crime took place, but
Yeah.
such a prospect hasn't seemed
Probably got drafted into war as well, you know?
to have deterred Agent Rhodes. Perhaps his zeal comes from the ongoing support and assistance provided by Laura Lorius's great niece, Barbara Ashcraft, who is desperate
Ah, so he's doing it for a chick. Hey, you want to know where your great-great-grandpa died? I got you.
to see the family mystery finally solved. When pressed on what are theories regarding his relative's fate, Ashcraft believes they were murdered in Vaughn, possibly in the very same cafe that they had their breakfast in on the morning of their disappearance. The purpose of their stop in Vaughn was so that the Loriuses could visit an old friend who just so happened to live there, but it's unclear whether or not this friend actually met with them. Not only that, but in 1963, a private investigator named Walter Duke received a letter from a woman claiming to have witnessed the murders. The woman said she watched
30 years later?
the two couples being escorted into the basement of a cafe, and that she had later heard that they
Bro,
were
they're
robbed.
just capping at this point. How are you going to believe that? 30 years later. By the way, I saw them walk into the basement of the cafe. What cafe? Bro, is that building even still there? It's probably demolished.
Murdered, and then buried in wet concrete. The tip has led Barbara Ashcraft to suggest that the investigation should focus on the concrete slabs lining the site of the former Vaughn Hotel.
Wow, that's crazy. Imagine. Oh, that's kind of pity. Imagine having beef with a business and be like, you know what? We should tell them there's dead bodies there so they can wrap up the concrete. Yeah. Delay the business or something. I don't know.
But Agent Norman Rhodes has another theory. After combing over stacks of reports in the State Police Records Division, Rhodes has created a timeline of events and interviews that's an incredible 141 pages long. According to him, 2 postcards in particular have convinced Rhodes that the couples actually left Vaughn on the morning of May 22nd with the intention of driving to Albuquerque via Santa Fe. A postcard marked May 22nd was mailed to Albuquerque, and a clerk at Albuquerque's Sturgis Hotel told investigators that the couples visited her hotel that afternoon to ask about renting rooms. Agent Rhodes believed that the couples rented one of the smaller rooms at this hotel so that each of them could take a shower, and intended to travel over to Gallup by nightfall. Yet shortly after leaving town, they suffered their run-in with their mysterious killer. It's very possible that the couples misjudged the distance to Albuquerque and had ended up driving
Albuquerque. Isn't that where like Breaking Bad happened? Sorry, I'm such a Gen Z. Breaking Bad era? Breaking Bad based on what era? What era is Breaking Bad based on? $2000s.
the dark when it's much harder to properly navigate. Rhodes believed that this is how they became vulnerable to a potential predator, and that the couple simply misplaced their trust in someone who brutally and violently betrayed them. Although spotted by a handful of witnesses, the police are no closer to identifying the man who took George Lorius's car, as they were almost 90 years ago. But even if this person was identified, they're probably in no fit state to answer questions about something that occurred back in 1935, and it's unlikely that there's any surviving forensic evidence. The truth behind the disappearance of George Lorius, Laura Lorius, and their friends Albert and Tilly might well have vanished along with them, and the mystery of how 4 regular, wholesome people simply disappeared one day is unlikely to ever be unraveled.
Bro, who cares? What a useless ass story. Who the hell cares, bro? What? Bro. We just... Wait, that was kind of useless, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. The first story was absolutely cinema. Wait, was it? Fuck, I don't even remember. This story was pretty mid. Not gonna lie. Pretty damn mid. You know, 4 people went missing in 1935? Yeah, they went missing. That's about it. They went missing. Yeah. Anyways, did you know that in World War II, it might have not even happened? What? Really? How'd you know that? How'd you know that? Never go camping alone. Who's gonna stop me? 3 creepy roommate stories that would make you look at... Oh. Yo, Let's Read is popping off. Let's do roommate stories. Lock in.
On today's episode, you'll hear 3 disturbing roommate stories. One man is forced to spy on his housemate for dangerous criminals. Another discovers his roommate's disturbing obsession with things that'll leave your stomach churning.
Yo, what?
And one tenant begins waking up in the middle of the night to a sleepwalking roommate whose escalating behavior becomes too much to handle.
Cap. Who the hell... Sleepwalking's not real, it's Cap. Yo, the first story's 29 minutes. 29 minutes? We might have to like cut it into two. What? Okay. This story is 29 minutes. You hear that? 29 minutes. It's gonna give me an ad.
On today's episode, you'll hear 3 disturbing
29 minutes. Can we do it? Shall we do it? Lock in. Lock in. Lock in. Alright. Story 1, let's go.
criminals leave your sleep.
Story 1, lock in. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Today was a short Earth vlog anyways.
Hey Joel, my name's Phil and I grew up in Tacoma, Washington in the 80s and
You're gonna have this stupid ass image in the whole time, bro. Just why?
90s. Now, I didn't do great in school, so I dropped out when I was 17 and got a job working in a bar to get myself some money.
Real.
I stuck around for about 6 years learning all the tricks of the trade. And then by 2006,
Yo, 17 for 6. You're 23 years old? Okay.
I was practically running the place under the guidance of the old owner/manager.
Makes sense, right? You're working there for 6 years. Of course. Since 17 to, yeah, you're basically like the next owner. He probably loves you.
That place was my meal ticket, so I ran a tight ship. And if you ask me, we had the best bar in South Tacoma. Well, it turns out someone else thought so too, and that someone ended up making me a job offer I couldn't refuse. It's not there anymore, but there was this restaurant in South Lake Union called Gastropod. And the guy I served drinks to that night was the owner, and he wanted me to be the place's new general manager once the current one turned over his keys at the end of the month. And he was willing to pay me very handsomely for my services. I said thank you and goodbye to the old crew, moved up to Seattle towards the...
You know... Yeah, it's fine. I should get some water, hold on. Can I get a bottle of water? Can I get a bottle of water? Sorry.
end of the month, and then spent the next few works getting over the imposter syndrome as I settled into my new role. Now, I love my job, but the best thing about moving up to Seattle by far was my new apartment. Aside from the steep rent, there was basically no downsides to living there. It was a really nice neighborhood, and when I say it was quiet, I mean it was crazy just how peaceful it was. And that was in no small part down to my roommate, named Adam. And Adam...
You're 23 years old male, so why would you want to get a... I guess roommate cuts it cheaper, right? But you just said that the new guy's gonna pay you handsomely.
was, in a word, a ghost. It actually took a whole 3 weeks after moving in before I met him, and I tried knocking on his door down in the lobby a whole 3 times and got no answer every single time. I was just getting home from work around 11:30 at night when I ran into Adam in the lobby while he was headed out. And the dude looked legitimately spooked to see me at first, and then even after I introduced myself as his new neighbor, he didn't seem to warm up at all. He wasn't rude really, just anxious. And after he said he worked in tech, I invited him up for a beer sometime, and he replied very nervously saying, "Yeah, sure, maybe," in a way that suggested
He's just an introvert, my friend. Bro, instantly inviting him to go drinking? He just wants to do his thing.
that he was never going to do that. But hey, there are worse things than a quiet roommate, right? So I wasn't really complaining. And I lived in Seattle for a whole 6 months without anything to complain about, besides the rain, of course. Until one day, when my awesome brand new life turned into a complete nightmare. It started towards the end of March 2007. I finished up at work, said goodbye to everyone, and locked up for the night. And then as I was walking along waiting for a vacant cab to appear, a black sedan with tinted windows rolled up next to me. I could spend like a paragraph or two describing the guy who appeared in the open back window, but nothing really sums him up better than Fat Bill Burr. He was bald like Bill, he talked like Bill.
Who's... Who?
and he than Fat Bill Burr.
Fat Bill Burr. Who? Whatever.
He was bald like Bill, he talked like Bill, and he even laughed like Bill. And the only difference was the guy in the back seat must have had at least 60 pounds on him. In this loud Boston accent, he says to me, "Hey buddy, how's it going?" I told him fine, that I was on my way home, and then he says, "Well, why don't you jump in? I'll give you a ride." I told the guy that I'd rather wait for a cab, and then he responds, "You're the manager of that gastropod place, right?" When I said yes, he told me that that was what he wanted to talk to me about, and if I got into his car and went for a ride with him, I might just find myself looking at a very lucrative money-making opportunity, both for me and the restaurant. I hesitated, but he gave me this look and said, come on. What do you think I'm gonna do? Just get in, and even if it's a no on what I gotta say, you got yourself a free ride home." No.
I wouldn't take that risk. Hell no. Alright, that's how you get kidnapped, no? Oh, that's how you get you can't. Dude, there's no way you can trust that. Ain't no way you can. Bro, don't go on the. He's gonna go in the car. He's gonna get kidnapped. What? Why would you do that? Why? Here's my email. Tell me what you want. Done. Get out of here. Shoo. You know? Here's my email address. Business card. Boom. Yeah. You want it? Tell me what you want and I'll look at it later, alright? I ain't getting in your car. That's how you get kidnapped. Bro, that's literally how you get kidnapped. What? Go on a ride to talk. What you gonna talk about? Huh? Bro, car got no security camera. You have no control where the car going. How you know the car's gonna go to your house? GG. So over. He's gonna go in the car, isn't he?
I wasn't some nerd incapable of defending myself, so
That doesn't matter. Bro, even if you built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you ain't gonna do anything in the car. Someone, depends on what the car looks like, but, bro, you already said it is a driver. There's someone else. Even if you could defend yourself, buddy, a gun next to your head in the car, you already got on the surface. Like, you better not moving there, boy. So, oh shit. Bro, even if you, like...
I got in, and we took off,
He got in.
and I listened to what he had to say. But from the moment he started talking, I knew that I'd made a huge mistake.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, the first thing he said was basically, "Alright, I'm gonna come clean. I don't give a crap about your crummy job, but you're in the car now, so shut up and listen."
What did I yeah, so that's his fault. That's his fault for going in the car. Why'd you do that? Like, why'd you get in the car? I already told you, even if you could defend yourself, it's over once you're in the car. You ain't control, bro. Oh, he's kidnapped 101.
The guy's demeanor shifted completely after I got in the car, and I can't lie. It definitely made me a little nervous when he forcibly told me to shut up. And it wasn't just him and a driver either. There was a guy in the passenger seat looking around and very much mean-mugging me.
Why would you get it? You just got into like a 3v1. What is this? What is even in your thinking to get in the car in the first place? Yeah, get in the car. I just want to talk to you. Once you're in the car, oh yeah, okay. Anyways, I want your money, your wallet. If you try to leave, I'm just gonna kill you.
Saying that since he knew where I lived and he knew where I worked, we'd be seeing plenty of each other in the future. And there was no point hiding or any of that crap, as he put it.
Yeah,
But if I kept cool and did my job, then, like he said, there was money in it for me. All I had to do was find a way of getting into my roommate's part of the house so I could look for something for him. It was real small, and so small that he might be able to hide it in some pretty creative places, so I'd have to look long and hard if I wanted to find it. But when I did find it, the guy didn't want me to take it. He just wanted me to let him know that it was there and, more importantly, where it was being hidden. Now, I remember kind of reflexively saying, "I can't do that," to which he responded that not only could I do what he asked, but I would. He said I didn't look stupid, so he knew I'd do the right thing and do as he asked. I asked what would happen if I didn't, and the implications were clear. He said I'd recognize the thing he wanted me to find from the letters D-FNTL written on it. I didn't have to memorize it though. I don't even think it was those exact letters either, to be honest, but it'd be the only thing in his place with those letters on it, and then when I found it, all I had to do was tell him it was there. He left a kind of pause, waiting for me to say something, but all I could bring myself to ask was if he was, like, with the...
He shouldn't have gone in the car in the first place. He would have avoided the whole situation if he just got in the car. He's putting himself some kind of like... What would you do in a situation? Bro, if you do that again, you don't even know what your roommate's capable of. You don't even know. You don't know. There's no life like that. You don't know who's good, who's bad.
CIA or the FBI or something. The guy laughed and then told me if he was, he'd just arrest me and throw my ass in a cell, then threaten me with prison time till I cooperated. But since he wasn't, since he was a nice guy, as he put it, he was going to pay me to do it instead. On the other hand, he could make a phone call to some associates of his who'd head over to my place in the middle of the night and beat the location of the object out of my roommate. But he knew that it'd be noisy and messy and have the cops crawling around, and since I probably had my own stuff going on, I most likely didn't want that. Just to make it clear, I did not have my own stuff going on, and I'd have been more than happy to have gotten the cops involved there and then. But he had that whole thing covered with the next part of his little speech. He said the cops in Seattle were dumb and couldn't run a goddamn bath, let alone a city. And they were also more corrupt than an NBA ref.
He makes a good point. Police probably corrupt themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if, their little gang's got some undercover cops. Bro is putting himself in some... First of all, shouldn't have gone to car. You kind of need to mind your business in this point, but you're kind of tight. I don't know. GG, right? I think the best situation in this case would probably be to just not be okay, I'll see about it, and then just not do it and see what happens. What, they're gonna get you? Come get me anyways. Because then if they get you, they're just adding another. Yeah. It's like, okay. Because if you really didn't need me, why would you do all this to get me? So, like, do it then. Come get me then. You know what I mean? It's like, in this situation, you're probably better off just not doing anything, right? Just don't you jack all. It's like, oh, I'm gonna just ignore the side mission. I appreciate the side mission, but no thanks. You just ignore them and see what happens, right? What are they gonna do? Come get you? For what? Declining a job? Alright, do it then. Come get me.
At least according to him anyway. And so if I talked to them and made any kind of report about him or what was going on with my roommate, he'd know, and there'd be trouble. Now by this point...
Yeah, literally, I think the best situation here would be like, just ignore the whole thing. So like, be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll see about it. And just not do anything and not say anything and then whenever, the next time they come to you, be like, hey, why'd you not do your job? What job? Who are you? Did you not remember our conversation? No, I don't, who? Who are you? You came in my car. We talked about some business. Why'd you not do the job? What are you talking about? Oh, we're gonna beat you up now. Okay, do it then. We're gonna do it. What else are we gonna do? What are you gonna do now? Beat me up too? Come get me?
Mess in my head.
You're just gonna add more. It's just gonna make, because like, they just said that if I don't do the job, they're gonna beat up my roommate anyways. So just beat him up then. Why do you need me? If you're doing all this effort to just get me, and then obviously I matter more. So I'm actually the A side. You need me. I don't need you. So, yeah.
And all my energy was going towards not showing that. My head was spinning. I can feel myself sweating. And at one point, I was legitimately thinking, this can't be happening. I passed out on the pavement, and this freaking fever dream is occurring right now. But it wasn't. What was occurring to me in that moment was real, and there was no getting out of it.
Yeah, there is. Just ignore it. Take the risk.
The guy even picked up on how scared I was after he directed his driver to take me home, and he started saying how I didn't have to worry about a thing if I just did as he told me. And there was no time limit on it either, since my priority was almost not alerting my roommate that I was going through his stuff. And the guy said if I spooked him, he might leave, and I really didn't want him to do that. If I did, he might leave and take that little object with him, which was something he would not allow to happen. I tried once again to tell him that I wasn't right for the job, that I'd mess it up and he should just find someone more professional. Now he responded with a pee-wee baseball coach saying stuff like, "Sure you can, kid. You're his roomie. I'm sure he trusts you." And he added that Adam, the name of my roommate there, might even have the object that I was looking for lying around on a coffee table or something. All I needed to do was head down there with a six-pack while the game was on and take a little look around after asking him to use the bathroom. I remember telling the man that Adam wasn't that kind of person, but he only said, "I'm sure you'll think of something, kid. You'll see."
At this point, they're desperate for you, so you just say, okay, no, or like, just ignore it. Because they're making it like he's the only possible way. Like, if you really got that much effort, you can ignore them now, right? What are they going to do, get you to? You just make it even worse.
A few minutes later, the guy was dropping me off a block over from my place, saying he'd be in touch the following week. I got out, just feeling numb as I walked back to my place, and then I spent the next few hours wondering what in God's name I was going to do.
Nothing.
I tried asking the guy his name before I got out. I tried asking who they were with, too. I got answers to neither.
Hey,
and
don't
the guy
worry
just
about it.
said, "It's not important." And then after asking me not to slam his door too hard, he and his boys took off into the night. I didn't even try to memorize the license plate because I believe every word of what he said about the cops. And even if he didn't have anyone on his payroll, they wouldn't be able to protect me from him. Not in
Nah, you just ignore them. What they gonna do? What they gonna do? What are they gonna do, right? You're saying the cops are corrupt, so then why don't you do the job yourself? Huh? You're saying cops corrupt, do it yourself then. You don't need me. The reason you need me is because they aren't corrupt. It's too easy. It's too easy.
the short term anyway. And so really, what choice did I have other than to do what that weirdo
No,
said?
you can just ignore it. What they gonna do? Beat you up for it? I mean, it's like, hey, you're fit for the job, right? Yeah, you do it. If you don't do it, we'll beat you up. Or we'll do it ourselves. So then just do it yourselves in. Obviously, you need me then, so I must, yeah.
And so I spent the next couple of days fixating on two things. Firstly, I wondered how the heck I was going to get into Adam's place without alerting him. And secondly, I wondered who the hell he was to have landed himself in so much trouble.
But you don't have any context. You don't even know if Adam's a good guy or a bad guy. You don't even know if these guys are good. You don't know. It's like, wait. You don't know. Not like that dark, right? You don't know. You don't know. Should have just ignore it, right? What they gonna do anyways? Beat you up? Like, I wouldn't even tell Adam. I wouldn't even tell anyone. I'd just be like, huh? You talk to me? I remember.
All I knew was that he was anemic looking, worked in tech, and liked to stay out all night. And then if he was just some nerd, why not snatch him off the street? Kind of like they did with me, and then get what they wanted that way.
Exactly. You don't even know who
And
Adam
if
is.
it was that important, why not just kick his door down in the middle of the night?
That's what I
Why
mean.
get me involved?
That's
Was
what I
Alan
mean. You're
dangerous?
important.
And if so, how? Those are all of the thoughts that were running through my head over the next week or so, and
Next
since
week?
I didn't know the first thing about robbery or burglary, I figured my best chance was to sort of fake a break-in. I could make it look like something it wasn't, and if the little labeled object I was looking for didn't move, then maybe he wouldn't take off with it. And I was still toying with that idea the next time I ran into the man in the black sedan. Now, I was walking to my car after work when I spotted his car, and while I'd been just about flinching at anything that looked like it for the past week, this was the real deal. The back door swung open, and I heard that same Bill Burr Boston accent say, "Hey buddy, what do you say we have ourselves a little talk?" I thought about running, but I knew that'd just piss him off, and so I climbed into the back seat with him and we had ourselves that little talk. At first, he asked me how things were going, if I'd made any moves yet, stuff like that, and I was honest with him. I told him I was still in the planning stages, that I was pretty inexperienced with things like that, and that he'd have to give me more time, a lot more time to get it done. And the guy kind of nodded, but added that he didn't have all the time in the world, so I should start making moves.
From the bald guy's perspective, bro, what have you been doing? It's been 1 week. How'd you not even think of anything? You dipshit. The fact that I gave you a week is already enough. The fact that I gave you a week already is insane. It's obviously really important then. What'd I say? Oh, shit.
Now. And that's when the second part happened. The scary part, because when I once again suggested that I wasn't the right guy for the job because I didn't have the moves he was referring to, and I was sure that I'd messed things up, the guy asked me, "So how's Annie doing?" Now the question had the color draining from my face. I literally felt lightheaded when he said it, like a damned bobblehead just trying to keep my head pointed the right way up. My heart started beating faster. I got that cold, sweaty feeling all over again, and try as I might, but I couldn't stop my hands from shaking, because Annie was my grandmother's name.
Grandma's name? What are you gonna do? Kill my grandma? Is you gonna do that? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, huh? You're gonna kill my grandma because I didn't do the job? Go ahead, try.
Now, I didn't act like some tough guy. I didn't tell him if you ever lay a finger on her or anything like that. And I was just too stunned to speak, and I stayed too stunned until the guy reassured me that she wasn't in danger. He just wanted to know how she was doing. I didn't answer him. I just told him I'd have the job done by that time next week. And that's when the third portion of our conversation commenced, and he gave me a little advice.
Bro, they're bluffing. Do you know how easy it is to bluff someone? It's pretty easy, right? Just go on Facebook or something. Or like you just spy on someone for like 1 week and you can get as much information as you can. Right? Yeah.
He told me to case the place, familiarize myself with it, and to do it soon. The guy then smiled, asked me not to slam his door again, and that marked the end of our second meeting. I thought about what he said about casing the place, which, for those who don't know, is basically the word criminals use for recon or scouting out or looking around. Getting a look at the place before I actually look for the thing would give me an idea of where everything was and where I most likely needed to look. And so, as strange as it might sound, I tried the idea I originally dismissed and showed up at Adam's door with a 6-pack of beer, some energy drinks, and 2 boxes of that chef's choice sushi. I figured I could pass the whole thing off as a sort of thanks for being a cool neighbor gift, so even if he didn't drink, I could talk my way inside with that good sushi that I brought. But even so, getting inside was no easy task. When I knocked on his door, Adam obviously didn't seem too excited on letting me inside. A few weeks back, I'd have put that all on him being nothing more than shy, an anxious person maybe, but right then, I knew there was something bigger going.
It really depends on the context, but like, bringing drinks and sushi into my room. Can we just do this in the living room? Why do you need to come in my room? Get out. What? You acting like my room big enough for like sushi and but there's only like one room, there's only one chair in my room anyways. What are you gonna do? Sit in my bed? Are you a girl? No. In the living room. If I was Adam, hey buddy, you want drinks and sushi? Okay, just put it in the living room. I'll come join you soon. I want to come in your. Get the fuck out of my room.
On. That didn't stop me from keeping my cool, and I guess that was down to me not having to pretend to be interested in him. I've been wondering about what he did, how he lived, and what his part of the house looked like for months by that point, and so I didn't have to put on some Oscar-winning performance to make that believable for him. I only really sold the idea of me coming inside by saying I'd basically never ask him again. All I wanted to do was get a feel for my not-so-new roomie, and then I'd leave him in peace like I usually did. He still didn't want to, and that much was obvious, but he knew that accepting my offer meant that I'd leave him alone in the long run, so he invited me inside. Adam's place was spotless. The decor was minimal and monochrome, and he didn't have a television that I could even see, and he had those 2 huge bookcases filled to bursting with all kinds of computer and tech-centric books. And after he put the sushi in his refrigerator, he showed me around a little.
Okay, so how big is this guy's room? Because I'm thinking like normal room. Okay, I just I don't understand. Must be something up. Seattle roommates. Hey, I'm Joey, 21 female. I'm fairly new to Washington. I'm trying to establish myself and get out of my family's house, for lack of better words. I'm very organized and quite a quiet person naturally. You won't even notice I'm there unless... Unless what? I'm good. Pass. Mayaka. Hey, I'm seeking a room for me and my dog. Her name's Cora. She's 7 years old. 6-pound Russell Jack, who is very well house trained and not a yep yep. When I'm not working, I write music, bedroom DJ, and make wire wrapped. Yeah, I'm good. Pass. 21-year-old Liza, childcare specialist. Hey, I'm Eliza, a college grad and a working professional. I currently live in AZ, but planning to move in Seattle to work for data. Just say you're like a phone caller. For medical reasons, Jay prefer female roommates that don't smoke. Brandon. What? Mitch. Oh, yo, my name Mitch. He/they, queer. Okay, you're good. Yeah, see? Okay. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. That bit is interesting. I'm just looking for a place as soon as possible. 39 years old. Sorry, Unk. That's okay. TV. Okay. Jasmine. House cleaner. Alex. Hey, my name Alex. 21 female and my boyfriend is Brandy, 23 male. We're looking for a short term 2 to 6 month-ish, maybe roommates while we save up for a house a bit. We are stoners. At least you're honest about it. Interesting website. What is this website? Roommate wanted in Seattle. I'm a male. Whatever. I'm on Firefox VPN. I'm a male, age 21 student. I'm available to move from. I have a budget of 4K a month. No age. Oh, never mind. 24. Roommate wanted. I'm a professional. What do you mean I'm a professional female? How can you be professional? You're a female, age 25. Your budget is 1K a month. Good luck. Sydney, 18. I'm a female student, aged 18. Bruh, just live with your parents, my friend. I'm a professional. How are you What do you mean professional? You mean old? Is that 37 years old, 1K a month? Hold on now, Bing Ching Chong. Sorry. I'm a professional How are you professional? You're a Ching Chong. 500 a month. Now that is what I call Ching Chong right there. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a female student, age 18. Why are you lying? I'm a female student, age 18. Female student, 25 years old. You're lying. No wonder you don't have a face cam. You're a professional. Okay, I think professional is just old then. Okay, just say you're old. Oh, like you have a job. Okay, makes sense then. Bro, ain't nobody taking a 46-year-old looking like. $42. Bro, he looks young. This is not the good website. I like the ones with a little reading. Like this one's pretty funny. Wait, I want to see. Let's read some more. We are so off topic here. I was trying to listen to a story. Now we're just browsing rooms. You know, now we just browsing rooms. Roomster, roommates in Seattle. Hold on a minute. I'm kind of curious now. Roommates in Auckland. Yo, let's read this real quick. As expected. $300. Oh, it's not the same. It's not the same. 28-year-old male. Hey, I'm Sali. A student looking to team up and create friends. Relaxed home. I live in the share houses because, yeah, okay. I'm a big keen on keeping common area clean. Okay. Tupo, 22-year-old female. I'm a female international student, which will be studying at Auckland. I am looking for a room to rent. I'm a non-smoker, no drinking alcohol, respectful, cleaning, free maid. $200? Wait, so you paying to clean my house? Sorry. Man, that's it? What's this one say? Flat Hive. $300 for... Why you got a chair there? Oh no. 250, 310, 220, 200. I want to read the funny ones. Explore the locations. Where's the ones where I could like read roommates? That's kind of funny. I like the descriptions. Shut up. Meet. Search. I'm good. We are so... We are like so off topic now. 53-year-old female. Due to family emergency, I had to return back to India with my husband. I've been away for nearly 3 years. I arrived in New Zealand on March 23rd. Alejandro. I'm a 20-year-old male, currently studying in international design at the UC. I am moving to a new flat in June. Leia, 27 years old. I'm planning to move into Auckland soon for a new job. I'm looking for a clean, comfortable place. I work on Monday to Friday, so I keep it pretty regular. Lizzie, 18 years old. Chill flatmate, one sweet cat. Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm looking for a cozy place to call home. I'm tidy, easygoing, and respectful of others. I have a sweet cat called Ariana, who is gentle, chill. In my free time, I love making something. Chill, easy, online gamer, 52-year unk. Yo, unk, you gotta relax. 41-year-old town planner. Quiet, respectful, mature, full-time Raj? TN. 45 years old. Oh my goodness. I'm a commercial director from China, currently relocating to Auckland to... She's not real. Fake. This one's fake. Pretty obvious fake. Abdul. You know what? Abdul looking like he's smiling. I ain't gonna lie. Joy. I'm looking for a private room for me. I'm a room attendant in a hotel. And I enjoy... Your budget is $250 a week? You better be cleaning the house too as well, huh? For $250. Nick. It's just me. I'm a really busy man of work and sharing a toddler with my ex. Robert. Yo, grandpa, you might need to just go to like... You might just need to go to a retirement home or something. Yin yin. We are a hard-working couple wanting to serve good people. What, you Snorlax? Max? Responsible student. But you're 36 years old. How are you a student? Ratch. Easygoing, mature student. I'm working part-time. You're 45 years old. How are you still a student of what? Parker. I'm glad he put he in here because he looked like a girl, I ain't gonna lie. Felix. Hey everyone, my name's Felix. I'm 22 years old, architecture from Germany. From Germany. Emmanuel, I'm a store manager in a bike Evo store. Most of my time at work, if not, could be cycling and running. Emmanuel seems like a good bodyguard to hire. We are so distracted. Sorry, what was the story about? Fuck.
Not saying all that much, but just trying to be polite, I guess. Now, I started asking about his job, and he said he worked mostly from home. But when I asked to see his setup, he lost what little of the friendliness he had about him and just said no.
What setup?
I tried to play it off like I was just being curious. I wasn't set on inspecting every nook and cranny, even though I was. But then, as I carried on getting vague non-answers to my questions about his job, I was looking around the room and seeing a lot of security cameras. I saw a lot. There were 3 of them set up around the living space and kitchen, all pretty sleek and small ones too. But that was
Wait, a living room and kitchen. Dude. A living room and kitchen. Is roommate the wrong word? Because it sounds like completely just different houses, like completely different apartments. Dude, you cannot say your roommates in, right? There's no way. That's not. They're not roommates in. Wait, this guy's Adam's got his own kitchen and living room. Wait, so you can't even say roommate then? This is your neighbor. Yeah, now it makes sense. Now I can see why you bring sushi and drinks to knock over and come to his place. Because roommates, I thought roommates were like, you know, you share the same kitchen and you share the same. No, I guess in this story, with the context now, you might as well just say he's your neighbor then. But you might as well just say you're the neighbor then, no? How can you be roommates then? You're just neighbors. That makes a lot more sense on how come you can't even get in contact. Y'all literally, you're just neighbors. Of course you're not gonna care. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. If that's the context, then if I was Adam, I wouldn't even live in my house.
3 more than I had, and seeing as they made my job that little bit harder, I couldn't help but ask about them. Now, I turned it into a little joke, I suppose, asking if he was just paranoid or I needed that kind of equipment for my own part.
Bro's bluffing. No, not bro, not bluffing. Bro's making it way too obvious. Man, you making it way too obvious. He's not gonna invite you ever again. Not gonna lie, Adam. Bro, you're making it too obvious. Hey, here's some beers. Here's some sushi. Hey, I see some security cameras. Hey, what else do you do? What's your job? If I was Adam, I'd be like, yo, just get out of my house, bro. Like, you're just my neighbor. Get out. Ain't no roommate here. I got my own kitchen, my own living room, my own bed. Oh, you just get out of my room. Oh, get out of my house, actually. Get out.
Of the house. Adam just kind of looked at me like he couldn't think of an explanation and then murmured something about how it was good to be safe.
True.
He didn't seem like a bad guy, you know? I mean, maybe it was just how scared he was, but I couldn't imagine him really doing much harm to anyone or really anything. He was just some computer nerd. One that had done pretty good in life to afford that kind of living arrangement, but a computer nerd nonetheless.
Wait, so he literally is. You can't say roommate then. He's literally just a neighbor, no?
And if the mysterious man in the black sedan was sort of like the villain of this story, then maybe Adam was the victim. And if both things were true, then I figured it presented me with the perfect opportunity to make myself the hero. Maybe the phrasing of that makes me sound a little up my own ass or whatever, but I can promise you, fear and the relief of having extracted myself from a difficult situation were also very strong motivators here. I knew that I didn't have it in me to get all Mission Impossible and break in there after deactivating his cameras and hacking his computer and blah 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 Hollywood nonsense. I had to talk to the guy. I mean, really talk to him so we could figure out something together. And it wasn't something I planned before walking into his place. The urge just sort of took me then and there. And when I asked him again why the cameras were there, and I got another non-answer about security, I asked if the reason he wanted security was because he'd taken something that didn't belong to him.
Get out of my house. You're asking too much. Get out. Get out. You're asking too much. You trying to rob me? We're asking. Who are you? Who you work for? Who are you? Matter of fact, we don't even know each other. Who are you? I'm leaving.
And the second I asked him, the friendliness dropped away again, only that time he looked frightened too. He asked who I was, like who I really was, because I guess he figured I worked for someone. In response, I literally said nobody, absolutely nobody, and I wanted to stay that way too. And then before he had a chance to really panic or anything, I told him exactly what happened with the guy in that black sedan, and how he seemed to know everything, how he was threatening my grandmother, and how he was looking for something that was D-FN or whatever the label was I wrote earlier.
Bro fumbled his mission as well.
No, I added that all he wanted me to do was report back on where I'd found it, and not to take it. And so whatever it was, he could just leave it someplace, tell me where, and then get the F out of town before the sedan man's goon showed up to collect it, it seemed. I mean, because I was pretty damn sure they'd collect him along with it, and while that'd be rough on my conscience, it'd most likely be even worse for him. Adam agreed, and he actually got kind of emotional as he thanked me for telling him, but I was still very much in the mode of, we need to fix this crap, and now. And so I had to sort of hurry along the buddy-buddy moment and figure out what we were going to do and what was going on. Adam said he needed to copy what was on that drive, as he called it, and he also needed to erase and destroy all the computer stuff he had before leaving. And then including the time he needed to pack some stuff and arrange for some place else to stay, he figured he could be gone in about 12 hours, so 7 o'clock the next morning. And when he left, he'd leave that DF drive, that he called it, tucked behind the back of a picture frame hanging from a wall in his workspace. And that's where I could tell the guy that I'd found it, and
There's too much going on right here. There's too much going on. I don't even understand what's going on at this point. Because didn't the guy in the sedan say, don't tell him? But then you told him? This guy's dead. His grandma's dead. GG. You screwed up their mission. I don't even... Yeah, so confusing. It's like, whose side are you... What's going on?
since I couldn't do that until the next time I saw him, Adam would have plenty of time to get far, far away from Seattle. He tried to thank me again, but I wouldn't accept it, because it was now all on him to make sure our little deception wasn't uncovered. He needed to put that drive thing exactly where he'd said it'd be, and he needed...
Adam literally said he's just gonna copy what's on the file. So even if he... Yo, this guy failed his... I mean, like, yeah, what is going on at this point? It's like, you know? It really is just like what is going on in the story. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? So I'm checking the thing. Yeah. So I'm back. I had to check something. Anyways, Adam, if it was really important, you'll make a second copy already. Bro, there's too much going on in the story now because like from multiple perspectives, this is going crazy. Cause like, yo, if Adam was big brain, he would say, okay, it's gonna take me 12 hours to get ready. I don't know how I know that, but 12 hours, alright? Once he leaves, 2 hours, he's gone. Gone. It ain't taking him 12 hours. He gone straight away. You know, he lying. So much deception going on around here. I don't know what's going on. It's too much going on. Let's lock in.
To keep the hell away from the entire Pacific Northwest for all I cared. Because if they found out I'd helped him, then we'd both be screwed. Adam promised he'd disappear and that the men threatening my grandma would find what they were looking for, just not the only copy of it. And he only very cryptically reassured me that whatever was on that drive, its release couldn't be traced back to the agreement we'd made. I don't know if that was true or not at the time, but I guess me still breathing is a testament to Adam's honesty. At the time, though, nothing could have fully reassured me. And then after shaking his hand and wishing him luck, I went up to my part of the house, and in the morning, he was gone. I honestly thought dealing with the situation would be like a weight off my shoulders. After all, I'd done what was asked of me and located that little drive.
Bro fumbled.
So what else was there to worry about?
Bro fumbled. Sedan man's gonna be like, you said what? How come you left so early? Did you tell him? GG.
Well, turns out a whole lot actually, because I still needed the guy in the sedan to buy my story and believe that I hadn't tipped Adam off before he vanished. At times I thought about vanishing myself.
How are you going to explain that? Oh yeah, the drive is behind a picture frame. Yeah. Sedan man would be like, huh? How do you know it's there? What did he tell you? What does his house look like? Well, his house had like 3 security cameras, and he told me that the flash was behind a picture frame. Oh shit, I'm screwed now, isn't it? GG.
Because if this guy saw through my act, and he was probably going to do just that since he seemed to know everything anyway, then I was screwed. Even if they got the little drive thing they wanted, the guy'd be pissed that I'd lied to him, and big successful criminals don't get that way by being nice and forgiving, do they? Well, a few days go by, and then lo and behold, I finish work one night to see that same black car sitting a few spaces down from my own. The back door opens up as I approach, and then I sit down in the back seat with that smiling jackass sitting next to me. I didn't have to act like I was sick of seeing him, and neither did I need to act nervous about the drive being where Adam said he'd leave it. So, all in all, I guess I was pretty convincing when I said they needed to make their move so that the drive would still be in the place I found it when they did. I remember saying something along the lines of, I'm not having you guys blame me if he moves it. I did my part already, now leave me the hell alone. And the guy starts laughing that Bill Burr laugh of his heh heh heh, and then told me to calm down, and that he'd make their move that night. He said I better go check in a hotel or something, that I should concoct a story about meeting up with a girl or something to that effect if anyone asked, because when the cops got involved, it'd be easier for me to just say I didn't see anything because I wasn't there. And the last thing I said, and I figured this'd be the last thing I ever said to the guy, was, what about my money? Now don't think I was dumb enough to expect to get paid. I'm not that naive when it comes to the criminal underworld, but I also figured not asking would maybe raise suspicion somehow, so I did. Now I'm sure this won't come as a surprise to any of you with fully functioning brains, but when I asked to be paid, the guy just laughed that heh 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 laugh of his, and asked me why he'd pay me for something I just did for free. I took the guy's advice. I didn't want to make him think that I had a whole parallel plan going on, so I got the hotel room. And the next morning, when I made my way back to my car and drove home, one of the front doors had been smashed open, and Adam's apartment had been broken into as well. I called the cops, acted totally ignorant of everything, and just like the guy said, I was able to sort of say I didn't see anything, because I was in a hotel with a girl that I met at work. And a uniformed cop later asked me why I hadn't brought the girl back to my place, but he seemed
Too many lies, too many deceiving, too much bad karmic retribution.
satisfied when I looked very sheepish and told him that we didn't want her husband finding out. And he gave me one hell of a judgmental look, but he didn't question anything further. I then had the landlord call me to ask me what the hell was going on, and she stopped by that same afternoon to take a look around. She seemed relieved that Adam's place was the only one targeted and that neither of us had been home when whoever it was broke in. After that, I thought that was pretty much it, that I'd somehow navigated dealing with some big-shot gangster without getting anyone hurt, and given enough time, The info, or whatever
Oh,
that
he's
Adam
screwed.
got away with,
He's so
might get
screwed.
around to biting big fat Bill Burr on his freaking
He's
fat ass.
so screwed.
But then came the night he and his boys showed up outside work again, in their big black sedan with its tinted windows. I didn't have to act or play pretend when I responded, I thought we were done. What else do you want from me?
So whatever, he's gone.
But
He's
that
gone.
time, Big Bill Burr didn't play pretend either. He didn't say, oh hey buddy, how's it going, like he normally did.
Hey,
He
dipshit.
just leaned out a little, and then growled at me to get in the car before he had his guy drag me in. Now I knew that was the last time, or I mean, I didn't. But that's what I told myself as I headed for the car.
Don't do it.
Just one more time, and then this whole goddamn
He's
nightmare
cooked.
is over.
He's cooked.
I thought it'd be the easiest
Oh,
one,
so
with all
over.
the hard stuff having been gone.
So
And I
over.
even figured that the guy might even see it good to pay me now that he'd gotten what he'd wanted. But that's not what happened.
He's cooked.
After I climbed into the back,
Oh my
and one
God.
of Fat Bill Burr's goons closed the door behind me, I tried to basically go on the offensive. Any kind of nervousness, and I might as well just write, I tipped him off on my forehead with a Sharpie. But even after saying, what do you want now, dude? You said we were done. He completely shut me down by saying, I know what you did. I had to keep going. I couldn't just quit right there and then, and so I pushed back saying, yeah, you do. I risked going to jail for you, maybe even got myself shot. But here you are, still bothering me.
He's cooked.
I didn't get past the
He's not
here
him.
you are part before
Bro,
they
he's not him. He's not him. He's cooked. He's gone. It's
cut
over.
me off again.
He's not
Told
him.
me the only reason I was still alive was because he couldn't prove that I tipped off my roommate. He admitted to getting his hands on that drive, the one with the DF code on it. But as I suspected, he wanted his hands on Adam too, and he was angry that he slipped through his fingers. He asked me straight up if I'd tipped Adam off, and when I said no, he just rolled his eyes and called me a lying sack of crap. He then told me that for my information I should know that a body washed up on Alki Beach that very morning, and the cops thought it was my roommate, Adam. But Fat Bill Burr knew it wasn't. He said the reason the cops were so convinced it was Adam was because the body that they found had Adam's teeth. But it wasn't Adam, and Fat Bill Burr wanted me to know that the blood of that random homeless dude was on my hands and not his. And that was the only time I couldn't hold up my act anymore, and Bill Burr saw it. He then says, "Oh, you didn't think about that part, did you, kid? You didn't really take the time to find out who your little roommate was, huh?" I think I must have stammered or made some gesture because he seemed to know what I was going to say and anticipated it with, "You didn't need to know, so we didn't tell you. And even if you didn't tell him anything, you had one job to do, kid, and you messed it up." I remember telling the most unconvincing lie ever, saying,
Wait, what happened?
and even if you with
Wait, what happened? What? Fuck.
mate was, huh? Bill Burr saw. And that was the only time my homeless dude had him and Fat the body that they found. He said the reason the cops were so but Fat Bill Burr knew it wasn't. Cops thought I should know that a body washed up back of crap. He then told me that for my information I should know that a body washed up on Alki Beach that very morning, and the cops thought it was my roommate, Adam. But Fat Bill Burr knew it wasn't. He said the reason the cops were so convinced it was Adam was because the body that they found had Adam's teeth. But it wasn't Adam, and Fat Bill Burr wanted me to know that the blood of that random homeless dude was on my hands and not his. And that was the only time I couldn't hold up my act anymore, and Bill Burr saw it.
Are you telling me that Adam hired a homeless dude to stay at his house? Or no way. Are you are you telling me that Adam got a homeless guy, somehow got teeth in the homeless guy, and then Bold Man's group killed the homeless man thinking it was Adam, but it wasn't?
He time to find out who your little roommate was, huh? I think I must have stammered or made some gesture because he seemed to know what I was going to say and anticipated it with, "You didn't need to know, so we didn't tell you. And even if you didn't tell him anything, you had one job to do, kid, and you messed it up." I remember telling the most unconvincing lie ever, saying I swear I didn't tell him. But all that guy said in response was, "Get out of my car," before reminding me once again not to slam his door. And that was the last I saw of Fat Bill Burr. I wasn't sure, and I'm still not 100% sure if this guy just sort of made all that stuff up as a way of making me feel guilty. Killing me was just more trouble, and I guess so was beating the crap out of me and giving me a real reason to go to the cops. But planning something like that in my head, a lie that I couldn't ever really confirm or disprove, I think that was supposed to be his parting shot. I'm happy to say that it didn't hit the target, not after a while anyway. I did a whole bunch of digging online and not a single body has been brought in from Alki all year, and
So he was capping.
the last being maybe 18 months previous to
He was
this.
capping, then.
So Fat Bill Burr just had to have been lying, I think.
He's capping, yeah.
Adam wasn't a bad guy. He might have done something dumb to have the mob on his ass like that, but I feel pretty confident that I'd done the right thing in warning him. I still feel that way, and I feel like I managed to navigate my ship through some very stormy waters, and somehow I managed to thread the needle in a way that saved both mine and Adam's asses. I feel pretty proud of myself sometimes, and it reminds me that taking the hard road and doing the right thing even when it's tough and scary is always the right way to go. But if I go the rest of my life never having to make tough choices like that again, I'll be a very happy man, and wherever Adam is these days, I hope he's okay, and that him and that Fat Bill Burr will never cross paths again.
Mid story, honestly. Too much lying, too much deceptiveness, doesn't make sense. Who's who, you don't know. You don't know who's the good guy, you don't know who's the bad guy, right? Yeah, just don't know, right? At the same time, yeah, you just it's not very lack of context. You don't even know what's going on, but whatever. Kind of a mid story, super mid. It is what it is. Kind of useless. Now, what can we learn from that? What can you learn from that? You literally can't learn anything from that. Should have just mind your own business and should have never stepped in the car. And honestly, if I was in the situation, again, context is just so weird, right? Because initially I thought roommate was like buddy, no, but it sounds like more like a neighbor. The way the story talks, it sounds like more of a neighbor style rather than a roommate, right? I just not enough context, don't actually know what's happening, but so much context missing. You don't know who's who, you don't know Adam, you know. I think it's just too much lies, too much deception, who's telling what, who's acting what, you know? Nobody knows. I guess of course the storyteller will cope and say that he did the right thing, but did he? We don't know. Nobody knows. Based on this story, there's not enough context for me to choose a side. Not enough. You know, we don't know anything about Adam. Don't know anything about Bold Man. The only thing we do know is that this is just, yeah. One thing I do know is that the storyteller's a liar. He's a liar. Zero karmic retribution, and what's with my voice? Sorry, my voice sounded a bit weird for a second, but yeah. Anyways, again, not enough. It's just too complicated. Okay, too many lies, too many deceptions. The fact that the storyteller is telling lies to multiple people means that the story's a lie. So therefore, this whole thing's just fabricated. Right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate it, right? I know that was kind of interesting, but in the story, not enough context. It's all fabricated. You don't know what's real. See you guys next time, right? Bye-bye.